Welcome to another episode of Good Tones and Coffee. Don't forget, we're giving away this guitar to one of the first 1,000 subscribers, so be sure and subscribe. I have got a plethora of mugs, and you know what? I need another mug like I need a hole in the head, but this mug is kind of special. Maybe you have a special something in your life. You know, I found that no matter how hardened somebody might be, there are some sentimental things that they hang on to. This coffee mug was my great-grandmother's, and I was very, very fortunate enough to be very good friends with my great-grandmother. And I would always make her coffee, and I made her the last cup of coffee she ever had before she passed away in this mug. Sounds kind of dark when I say it that way, but it's a special mug because it came from her. It reads something. It's a Javelia mug. It came with like a matching set of this and then a coffee canister. But it has a little inscription on here. It was just kind of a fun memory that she would read it over and over again. She was a sweet lady. I cut my thumb on a Vienna sausage can today. Well, not today. We did a Christmas parade not too long ago, and cut my thumb on a Vienna sausage can trying to give my 1-year-old a little nibble of them. So I guess that's what I get for not prepping some better snacks. Here in the South, they call them Vienna weenies. I'm not from the South, but I live in the South now, and they call them Vienna weenies. So when I say Vienna sausages, people around here don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, they might understand, but I get a weird look when I say it. It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about today. Cool guitar here. This is an Eastman ED6. Is that right? Oh, pardon me. E6D-TC, and that stands for thermo-cured top. So this is a mahogany, solid mahogany back and sides guitar with a thermo-cured spruce top. It's a Sitka spruce. As many of you may have realized, or maybe you don't, I come from historically an acoustic background. I've played acoustic most of my life. And so this is home for me. I've recently, within the last 8 years, six or 8, I think maybe 8, have got into playing electric and have really enjoyed it. No, it might be a little more than 8, but I've really enjoyed it, exploring the world, because they really are. Just because you know how to play electric guitar or acoustic guitar doesn't mean that you can transfer everything over, because playing an electric guitar like an acoustic guitar is just going to annoy everybody. But anyways, acoustic is home for me. This guitar is a solid guitar, and I mean, it is solid wood, but it is a solid guitar, and has been my go-to recommendation for anyone who's looking to purchase a guitar in the right at or just sub $1,000 range. Now, brand new, they retail for like $1,200 or something like that, but you can find a used one pretty much every day online for right at or just under $1,000. And this is, like I said, a mahogany and spruce guitar, perfect for really sitting in the mix. I found that mahogany guitars kind of fit better. I do have, and I'll show it to you guys eventually, but I've got a nice rosewood Collings that is very piano-like in its sound, and that has just a big full range. But it does really well in the applications that I need it for. But there's something about a mahogany guitar that just fits right where it needs to be, especially when you're playing in an all-acoustic setting. But this guitar is a great guitar in spite of its price point. And I think, like I said, I've said it before, we're in the golden age of guitar making. We've got these ways to analyze those vintage guitars that have really paved the way, and we can reproduce great qualities. I'm not going to go on record to say the same qualities because I don't believe that they are the same qualities, because something about those vintage guitars really do hold a lot of special characteristics. But we can get great qualities for a fraction of the cost of a vintage guitar. Vintage guitar prices are outrageous because of supply and demand laws. I mean, that's the thing. Yes, they're great guitars, but the prices have gone astronomically high because of supply and demand. But this guitar super cool guitar, and the neck feels great to me. They have taken care to round the fretboard edges, so there's no sharp feelings. It doesn't have a V. I prefer a V shape to a neck. This doesn't have the V shape that I like, but it is a substantial neck. It kind of feels like a Telecaster. You know, it's full. It's a full shape. So I do appreciate that. They use ebony fingerboards on this and ebony bridge. Only thing I've really done to this guitar, I installed an LR Baggs Lyric pickup because I have a K&K Trinity Pro system in my other guitar, and I've always heard good things about these Lyrics. And for no more expensive than they are, I mean, they're really pretty affordable as far as pickups go. And they rate really well, so I put one in. I'm pretty happy with it. I would say it would make my recommendation list for somebody who just wants a no-nonsense pickup to stick in their guitar. Only thing I've done to it is I have slotted the bridge and used unslotted pins. Something about I read somewhere and I watched a luthier talk about it, how just that upward pressure of the string ball end directly against that bridge plate on the underneath. Because, you know, when you use slotted pins in an unslotted bridge, they're at this weird angle and it kind of shifts every time. But if it's a slotted bridge, it comes into that notch. It's very hard for me to describe with my hand. This guy was showing pictures and everything and little diagrams. But, you know, it comes underneath and sucks right up against that bridge plate. So it's always the same. The tension is right up against that bridge plate and not wedged in a weird way. So it's making good contact. And I will say, it took this guitar and it tightened it up a little bit. There were some overtone rings before, and when I slotted the bridge and then got those strings right up against the bridge plate, it took some overtones away. It took out the bad ones. There are still some overtones, like you can still. But it tightened it up. It brought it closer together, it seems like. So I don't get a lot of that. You know, sometimes for those acoustic players out there, or even, I mean, it transfers over into the electric world too. When you will let something ring out, sometimes they'll begin to vibrate in a way that's maybe not necessarily out of tune per se, but like it's just not pleasing to the ear. There's some of those. There's a sonic way. There's a way to explain it sonically, but I'm not the guy for it. But this, I'm gonna play a little something for you here. Let's see. Last thing on my mind is an old bluegrass song. Well, actually, I think it's a Gordon Lightfoot song that was covered by a bluegrass guy. But. Super good guitar for the money. I mean, I can't recommend these enough. Does anything you want it to do. Sounds good up the neck. I like it. I like it a lot. Again, this is the E6D-TC, the thermocured top. It's got bone nut, bone saddle. Just for the money, I can't get over how great these things sound for the money. I'm not one of those guys who say, "Oh yeah, it sounds, just as good as this insert premium guitar here, because I contest those statements, because so much is from the sound, is from the hands of the person playing it. So to say this sounds better than is so subjective to the individual, not only the one playing it, but the one listening to it, because somebody may think that this sounds better, but I may not. So it's all subjective. But what do you think? That's really what matters. Made a mistake of wearing a hoodie like this into a guitar store one time. Squirrel moment. But they asked me to take it off when I was asking to play. I can't remember what guitar I was wanting to play, but they're like, "Can you please take that hoodie off?" And they were very serious about it. And I understand they don't want anybody marring the backside of a premium guitar they're trying to sell to a customer, and they don't want to have to mark it down because some kid, I was a kid at the time, walks into, some may argue that I'm still a kid, but because some kid walks into a guitar store and scratches the back. Check out Eastman Guitars. They make killer electric guitars too, and they really do sound good. One thing I will say this is obviously supposed to copy a Martin D18, being a Sitka spruce with a mahogany back and sides. They do make a Adirondack spruce version. The E10D is the Adirondack top, and I looked at those too, but I don't know. I like this one a lot. It just has that cool mid-range that I like. But they're supposed to copy those Martin D18s. I had a Martin D18, has since sold it. But something that has happened with that D18 was this binding would come loose on those D18s. And it's kind of a known issue with standard production Martins and even the higher-end Martins over the last few years. I really hope they've got it fixed now, but it seemed like for a stretch of time that was an issue with those Martins, was that binding would come loose. This has not had that issue, so that's great. But I'm not a guy who has to have the name on the headstock to be satisfied. It's just, what does it feel like? What does it sound like? And is it easy to play? You know, those are the things that really make it for me. Obviously, I mean, I've got some very inexpensive guitars up here that I play a lot because they feel good, they play good, and especially with like these electric guitars. Yeah, sound is good, like with a dry sound, but you can pretty much make so many things happen with effects on these versus acoustic. In an acoustic world, this has to sound good as it is, and it's got to play good. So there's a lot more going into like the projection of the sound. Yeah, great guitar. I highly recommend. So Eastman E6D-TC is a win for me. If you're interested in these guitars, I would love to tell you that I had an affiliate link, but I don't. Hashtag would love to. Eastman, if you're out there, well, I know you're out there. But if you happen to watch this video, go ahead, give me a shout. Would love to. Anyways, I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Again, we're here right in the middle of the Christmas season. You may have noticed my kid's Christmas tree in the introduction of this video. I'm not sure what in the world it is, but they decided to use it. It, like, you pour water in the dish and these things sprout. I don't know if it's like a fungus. I don't know what it is. I didn't read the packaging. My wife got it for him, but they left it there. So I thought I'd just leave it there for you guys to appreciate too. My kids love that kind of stuff. Hope you guys are gearing up for a great Christmas season. We're in full swing in December now, so it is upon us. And I didn't include any Christmas songs in today's video. That's weird. For the last several videos I have. But anyways, I've been Christmas music overload over the last several days because Christmas music is probably one of my favorite styles of music. There's just so many cool things that they incorporate into those songs. Well, older Christmas songs. I mean, the newer ones really have that just cookie cutter pop sound that I'm not a fan of, but the Christmas music of olden days, is really great. I love the way. I think it's because there's a lot of jazz influence in there, and I like jazz. Can't play jazz very well, but I appreciate it. Hope you, anyways, have a great Christmas season, and remember the reason for the season: Jesus is King. If you have any questions about what I'm using, how I'm recording this stuff, please leave them down below. I'd love to talk about this stuff. I'm not a technical guru by any means. Don't pretend to be one. Don't play one on TV. But I love doing this kind of stuff and sharing this stuff with you guys. Anyways, hope you have a great one. Listen, we're all trying to get better together, so keep grinding away.